o'clock, so we might get started. So I'd like to welcome everybody to this session, capturing lessons using screen recording, clips, and animations on your iPad. And our presenter for today is Ben Woods from the Wollongong Diocese. I'm also from the Wollongong Diocese, so that's we already know each other. I'll be monitoring the chat as we go through, and if you have any questions, I'll try and answer them. And if that's not possible, I'll bring them to Ben's attention as we move forward. I've got so many windows open, it's hard to see what's on my screen. Sorry, I can see it now. We'll start with our acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge and pay our respects to elders, past, present, and emerging, of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nations, who long before us lived, loved, and raised their children on this land. We also acknowledge all the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander families in our community and acknowledge their physical and spiritual connections to their land. We come together today to learn, to share, and to journey together. And our prayer for today. Father of all, you gave us the dreaming. You have spoken to us through our beliefs. You then made your love clear to us in the person of Jesus. We thank you for your care. You own us. You are our hope. Make us strong as we face the problems of change. We ask you to help the people of Australia to listen to us and respect our culture. Make the knowledge of you grow strong in all people so that you can be at home in us and we can make a home for everyone in our land. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Okay, just a reminder, as with all the other webinars, this one is recorded. Sorry, that one says it's not being recorded.
Wrong slide. This one will be.
I didn't check it out. It's definitely being recorded and it will be available on the site afterwards, along with any other resources. Also, I've already mentioned if you use the chat network, that would be great to ask questions. So now I'm just going to get Ben to take over the screen and we'll get underway.
All right, thanks, Mark. And thank you everyone for tuning in. It really has been an amazing thing, everyone coming together, the collaboration as pointed out by Kelly, and being able to get things put together in such a short time frame has been amazing. It's been amazing working with the team to get this together. And also it's amazing to see all the teachers so willing to give up their holidays to learn. And we acknowledge that you've all been thrown in the deep end with this remote learning. And it does change every day, but hopefully the skills that you are learning at the moment can continue after the remote learning finishes and everyone comes out of isolation and whatnot, and they're back in the classroom. I think there's a lot of valuable skills that you're learning and tools that can enhance the education that we give our students. So thank you for tuning in. I am just going to start with...
Good morning, everyone. This session is capturing lessons using video. It will look at animations and how you can make things engaging for your students. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, so something that you probably will have seen on a lot of any Apple kind of presentations at the moment, or for the last couple of months, has been one of those little animojis, sorry. And it kind of ties in nicely. I've seen it at Apple presentations and part of their things, and I've gone, you know what, that could be something we could use in the classroom, especially with remote learning. Okay, so the question was raised to me, how can we use animation instead of having ourselves as the teacher always visible? I know the students definitely would appreciate seeing teachers at times, but to engage them a little bit more, we've got all these animation tools and we've got all these different apps that we can use to mix it up a little bit. so every day isn't the same kind of introduction with the teacher there. You can throw in some different tools. So I did go through the process of trying to unpack how they got their animojis into a keynote presentation and work through that, and I'll share that with you today. We will look at screen recording and how we can use that on the iPad for both putting out lesson content, but also as a way to upskill students in different apps and different skills that you may have picked up over this last week or over the last couple of weeks. And you don't have the luxury to sit down with your students at the moment and go, hey, look, this is this tool, this is this app, this is how you do it. So that's where screen recording can come into play and assist you there. So making short little recordings of those how-to videos. So we'll have a look at that. We will have a look at clips. I'll just show you a couple of examples of the clips because I don't want to eat into too much of the clip session, which is following this session run by Apple. But I will show you some of the things that can be done in that. I won't step you through the process of how you put those together. And then I'll show you, as I said, the animojis in animations and also the app Puppet Pals. Now there's heaps of other animation apps and different ways that we could do things with animations. Keynote's fantastic for making animations. But I just thought I'd narrow it down to just a few examples and hopefully things that you can use in your classroom to bring, or in your remote learning classroom, sorry, should I say, to bring a bit more engagement to students, particularly in those primary years, I suppose, as we go through as well. So the first thing, as Mark said, if you've got questions, put them into the chat. There's a question there about notes. There's not going to be many Keynote slides. I don't have any key slides there for notes. It's going to be pretty much a live demonstration once I jump out of this first 2 pages. Okay, so, but other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll check that and Mark will monitor that as we go as well. All right. So let's start by having a look at screen recordings on the iPad.
Okay, boys and girls, our learning intention today is that we are learning to use the jump strategy to solve addition problems. So we have a question, 22 plus 16 equals. So how are we going to use the jump strategy to solve that? And draw the line. And now we are going to work through the jump strategy. So we're going to start with 22.
Hey Ben, sorry to interrupt. We're not actually seeing anything.
Yeah, sorry.
Jump,
I will.
Don't
know what's happened there.
10.
Let me just stop that. There it is there. So you can see that now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Froze back on the other screen. All right, so a bit of an introduction to what this is. So here I've got a lesson, introduction and a lesson task set out in a Keynote. I know that there's a lot of teachers that have been utilising either Keynote, PowerPoints or slides to present their daily lessons. From here, in Keynote, you can embed the movies, you can, the sound can be heard on all devices. I know Slides was having a few issues with some audio being heard. So then we're running through putting it in Keynote so that they can actually hear that. So here I've got my lesson and then I've embedded a recording of how they can use that jump strategy or what that jump strategy is, okay? This can be really good for students so they know what to use and how to use the jump strategy, but also parents that are trying to support their children as they navigate this home learning. Okay, so these resources can be really good as a short little clip for parents too, so they know what they should be doing.
Okay, boys and girls, our learning intention today is that we are learning to use the jump strategy to solve addition problems. So we have a question, 22 plus 16 equals. So how are we going to use the jump strategy to solve that? And draw the line. And now we are going to work through the jump strategy. So we're going to start with 22. And we're going to do a one big jump, which is going to be plus 10, which is going to take us to 32. And now we can either do 3 little jumps of plus 2, and plus 2, and that would be plus 6 all up. And that would be 34, 36, and 38. So that's how we can use the jump strategy. There are other ways that we can break that up. If we know that we can do a jump from 32 to in one jump, we could just do plus 6 instead of breaking into smaller manageable steps. So use the jump strategy today as you try and solve your problems.
Okay, so really short little clip shows the strategy and is there available for parents and students to refer to, and the lesson content's there as well. So how do we do a screen recording? So we're going to jump out of Keynote there. Sorry about the recording noise there. It is running through from the iPad through Zoom, and it was a recording previously done. Okay, so a bit of interference there. Okay, so with screen recording, there's a few things that we need to make sure that we've done first of all. So we need to go to settings and we need to go to the control center. So the control center, when I drag down top right, okay, it brings up this control center and all those buttons underneath. To customize that, I go into control center. I touch on customize controls, and then I need to add screen recording. And you can see that that will pop up to the top. So now if I drag down top right, you can see next to the little house button is the screen recording button. Now mine's grayed out at the moment because I am airplaying into Zoom straight from the iPad. So I can't actually demo in live form how that looks. So it's grayed out at the moment. One thing that you do need to be mindful of when you are doing a screen recording is that first time you use it, it is a good idea to, when you press on that button, hold down on it and you can turn on and off your microphone. And you can see there on the screen that it also gives you a few options as to where that screen recording is going to be saved. I'd save it directly to photos and then you can use it and send it to a whole lot of different areas from there. All right, so screen recording, if I want to demo how that is for how to use, so in that one that you just saw there, I was using notes and I was just doing a screen recording of me writing out the strategy, the jump strategy. If I wanted to use it to make a how-to video, you can see here that the red dot is flashing and then that will disappear.
If I tap out of that, that record button goes to the top of the top right hand corner, and that's where I'll stop my recording. So here we are in a Pages journal that has been set up for students as per Michelle's session yesterday, and we've got all these placeholders and parts to scaffold learning. Now, if I wanted to demonstrate how to do a split screen with students, I could just record that. So I am going to drag up from the bottom, drag Safari, drag it over to the right hand side. Now I've got a split screen, I've got my journal on the left and Safari on the right. I'll grab this little grey handle and minimise that a little bit more. And if I wanted to use these placeholders to insert an image, I could tap on it, it would go to camera roll, or I could go through here and just hold down and grab one of those images and drag that over and drop that there. Okay, so I can use that as I go through. We can also do that with things from URLs or from text, so I can drag that across as well. So that's a split screen function. It will help students to be able to work on two things at once. When I finish with that, I can grab that grey handle and just drag it off to the side. Now I can hit the little red button.
Okay, so you can see a bit of a live how-to of how to do the split screen, which would be really useful for students if they were filling out one of those journals. They'd be able to watch that video, how to use split screen, and then you can post that along with the journal. So really good for how-tos, really good for lesson content, really easy to use the screen recording function. And that's our first little tip to how we can use screen recording in delivering some sort of lesson content to our students. So the second thing that I wanted to show you is the use of clips. Now, as I said, I don't want to eat into the next session, which is all about clips run by Apple, but I do want to show you what it kind of looks like. So I'm going to jump into a Seesaw class. And you can see I've got a few other things. We'll come back to the emoji guy there. We've got a few other ones down here that are actual clips. Okay, so this one here is a clip. Now I'm going to play it now and you'll be able to see what you can do in clips, and then you can tune into the next session to see how you can do that.
Right, boys and girls, I'm out in the garden today. Wow, how cool is it out here? Well, what's that? Oh, look at all those insects. Oh, that's what I want to do for today's learning. I want you to go outside into your garden and have a look around. See what cool insects you can find. Whoa, that's a bit scary. That worm looks massive. Hope we don't find too many of those. Today's learning task is to go outside, take photos of insects, and build your own out of natural materials.
Okay, so that's an example of a clip put together, short little lesson introduction, unpacks what it is, got a bit of a green screen kind of effect, which is built into the scenes functionality within clips, and then you can add other parts to that clip. And it seamlessly exports from clips to Seesaw, Google Classroom, or you can save it to your camera roll. Okay, so really easy for making those short tasks. All right. So as I said, I won't go into that into too much detail, but from my camera roll, if I was going to share that, I would select it and I would export it, and straight away down the bottom you can see that, oh, maybe you can't see those options. No, hasn't come up. You do get to export it onto Seesaw or Google Classroom from there. I'm going to show you that from there. Okay, the closed captions, just to answer that question that's popped up, the closed captions is actually a function in clips. You can actually embed live titles, so it's text, speech to text within clips, and that's just an automatic function within there. So if I click on here, so let's go back to the one that has it. Okay, so live titles down the bottom. Once it opens up for you on the screen, it's me navigating through, and you can see live titles. And so when I speak, it will actually come up down the bottom, and then I can actually tap on it and edit that. But as I said, I don't want to run through too many of these features now within clips, because the next session is all about clips. But it is really easy to use. So I can come out of that. And if I wanted to, just as an example, if I wanted to put another clip, I can just hold down and live titles will be turned on. Hold down on here and it will make my speech text. And then tap on that. I can actually edit that. Okay, so I didn't pick it up fantastically. But you can see there I can go in and edit. So fantastic way for students to be able to edit their own work and pick up on the fact that it doesn't put full stops, read back over their work. For those students that don't like to write so much, then they can still get a story out and it can come up live titles. They can edit it, they can see what it's meant to be saying. All right. So the next part is the emojis. There's a bit of lag between my iPad and everything. Let's just come back to where we are, let it catch up. So having a look at those emojis that I showed you at the start, okay, so they are part of messages. Now I've held off on going through and playing with these. I know some people might be really familiar with how these emojis work. Okay, so you can see I've clicked on that fourth button along the bottom there in messages, and that's our emoji. Now you can go through the process of creating one that looks like you. That's the best I could come up that looks like me. And I usually wear a hat around everywhere else, so I've whacked a hat on. But you've also got all these other options. And as I move my head, it actually moves and talks as I talk. So I'm not recording these at the moment, but I can actually go through and I can have a look at all the different ones that are available to us. Okay, so there's some fantastic ones in there that I could use. All right, definitely things that could fit in with the theme that you are working with in the classroom. Okay, so if you're on an African safari, maybe you could choose the giraffe. If you were doing something to do with the oceans, then the shark could be an option. Okay, there's a lot there to choose from. The STEM one we'll have a look at, or the robot we'll have a look at shortly. Okay, there's a lot there. Now, I'm pretty sure your students are going to get a real kick out of seeing these emojis because most likely they're quite familiar with them. But it's something that is really easy to use. You can record a 30-second little video with that. So the best way to do it is to send yourself a message. Okay, so I'm just sending a message to myself in here, and I'm going to click on the record button and start recording. Boys and girls, we're going to continue our fairy tales and fantasy writing today.
And start recording. Boys and girls, we're going to continue our fairy tales and fantasy writing today.
Okay, so once that's done, the blue arrow then sends that message and it will send it to myself, and then I can actually just click on that in the messages. So then I come up to the messages up the top once it sends, and I can save that to my camera roll. Okay, and then I can use it, I can embed it in Keynote, I can embed it, I could send it to Seesaw and use it as an activity in there as well. So I'm just going to click on that, it's going to open up, and I'm going to export it by hitting the box with the arrow coming out at the top right hand corner, and I'm going to save the video. There were options to send it to Seesaw straight away and those things straight from that export, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I will jump across to Seesaw, and we're going to have a look at where that can sit within Seesaw. Okay, so say I wanted to make that, so there it is as an announcement, there's one as an announcement. Say I wanted to make that as part of an assignment. In Seesaw, I can go click on Add, Assign Activity, and I've already created this assignment here. that has an embedded an emoji within it. And the task is to think of a task you do every day, write a set of instructions. Okay, so if I actually click on the emoji.
Boys and girls, welcome to today's STEM lesson. It's all about coding and about how robots follow instructions. Today, I want you to write a series of instructions that can then be followed. This is how we code computers and robots.
Okay, so there's what the students would see as their introduction to their lesson. And then the task is also there as well. So I could then assign that in Seesaw and put that across. Now, say I was using Google Classroom, those that post could go straight into Google Classroom, or as I said, it could be embedded within a Keynote or somewhere else as part of your lesson introduction or lesson content. Okay, so it's just an engaging way to kind of draw the students' attention to the task. Right, so if I wanted to go back and create a new activity and I wanted to add my other one, I could click on add, I go to upload, go to photos, go to recent, and I can select
And start recording.
the unicorn and add that in there as well, and then continue putting in the rest of the details for Seesaw. All right. So now, any questions? So now I want to take you to one of our other ones. So the Animoji, really easy to use, really easy to access. Everyone seems to be pretty familiar with that. No questions popping up at this stage in regards to that. Okay, the recording's been a bit scratchy, maybe because I'm reflecting from my iPad across to into Zoom. I'm not sure if that's the case. It doesn't sound too bad when I come directly. But yeah, you probably lose a little bit of quality. May also be my voice. Yes, to use them, Kelly, you do need to have messages on the iPad, as in to create them as a teacher. So I usually don't have messages turned on my iPad. This is a work iPad. I turned it on just to create these emojis, and I'll turn it back off afterwards. So you can turn it on, turn it off as you need it. Students definitely don't need it on their iPads to use. Now the next one that I wanted to show you is the Puppet Pals. So again, I know I'm using a lot of what's in Seesaw at the moment. I ran a similar session with the Wollongong Diocese a couple of weeks ago, and they were asking about how they can engage their infant students, and a lot of our schools across the diocese are using Seesaw. So I have directed a lot of these into the Seesaw platform. It does work perfectly with Google Classroom as well. Okay, so here's an example of Puppet Pals and how you might introduce a lesson in Puppet Pals.
Hi boys and girls, check out that wave. Ah, that's awesome. Today I'm introducing our learning task from out here in the Pacific Ocean. I wanted to come and check it out. And as I was coming out, I noticed that there's all sorts of plastic pollution and all sorts of rubbish in our ocean. It's so nice out here, but I wonder what we can do as active citizens to come up with a way of protecting our oceans. That's our learning task today, I've decided. So For today's task, I want you to solve the problem of all this plastic pollution. There'll be tips and tricks within your online learning platform to guide you through this task. Anyway, I better get out there. That wave's got my name on it. See you, boys and girls.
Okay, so another example of how you can introduce a lesson or a day's worth of lessons around a certain theme, or a week's worth, depending on how you structure your lessons, around a particular theme, and that one about the pollution in our oceans. Okay, so really easy to use Puppet Pals. It is a free app. You obviously get a limited amount of functionality with the free app, but all the things I've used have been through the free version of it, and you can modify to suit your needs. Okay, so let's jump into Puppet Pals and have a little look at how this works. Okay, just Lisa's question about how to get the emoji from messages. If I jump back into my messages, okay, so I've got my messages on the side here. All I need to do is tap on it, and the export button, which is the top right-hand box with the arrow going out, that then gives me the option to save video, and it will save directly to my photos or my camera roll. It will also, you can also airdrop that, you can send it, you can email it, you can, as I said, put it in a lot of different places there as well. So hopefully that answers your question. Yes, Robin, that is correct. With the $10 Puppet Pals, you get all the functions. So that is a pretty worthwhile investment if you're going to be utilizing it a lot. It does give you a whole lot more variety in what you can use. Mara, I think and emojis, Puppet Pals has been around for quite some time, has worked across a lot of different iOS versions. And emojis, I think, came out with iOS 12, possibly, off the top of my head. Okay. So here I am in Puppet Pals. And I'm just going to select a theme really quickly. I've got all these different themes that I can select. Sorry. Let's jump. Let's select a photo. So I can pick my own photos and put them up. Okay. I'm going to select this one for this task. And I'm going to turn off that music. So you can put background music, but I know that was probably annoying. It was annoying me. When you first open up the app, that music plays until you start getting into the creation tool. So you just navigate quickly through there. There's a lot of different scenes that you can choose from that are pre-made. There's more scenes that you can, as you can see, I've got a photo and I have uploaded one. All right. As we look through Puppet Pals, the functions up along the top, within the free version, I have a police car and a horse that I can choose to add to my scene. I have 6 characters that are available to me. Okay, all the grayed out ones, if you buy the full version, you will get access to those as well. I then also have, and this is where the paid version comes into play, if I wanted to put my head on one of those characters, I can go through the process of doing that, taking a photo and adding my head onto that. But that does become a paid version package, which you can purchase for $2.99, or you can get the $9.99 full package. Okay, and then you've got all the different music, background music that fits those themes as well. As I said, we're going to leave the music off, and I'm going to go through the process of adding one of these actors, and I can have more than one actor in a scene, and I can start to act out a a scene or a lesson introduction. Okay, so I've been doing lesson introductions today. Students could use this to retell and recreate a scripture passage and give it a modern day twist. Okay, and how that scripture passage relates to what is happening in our current world, or they could use it to describe their learning or how they might interact with other people. So if they're looking at well-being, they're looking at some of those relationship outcomes within PDHPE, then they could actually act that out using an animation. Okay, so here I have my character. I've put them into the scene, and by holding it down with my finger, I can actually move it around. Now I'm not actually recording at the moment, I'm just demonstrating what it can do. I can move the arms, I can move legs, and I can move it around the scene. Okay, so I'm going to put it down the front. I'm going to step you through how you might actually create your own intro to a lesson about obstacle course. So it could be a PDHPE lesson that you want the students to get outside and create their own obstacle course. It could link to STEM as well, through design and create, and we can go through that. Okay, so I'm now going to click on here, and I'm going to record, and as I go through and introduce the lesson. I'm going to hit record. I'm just going to jump over there. Whoa, 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 easy. Hey, boys and girls, that was a great obstacle course. Why don't you get outside and design your own? And then I'm going to hit done. Hit record. Jump over there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Easy. Hey, boys and girls, that was a great obstacle course. Why don't you get outside and design your own? Okay, so if I'm happy with that, I can then click and give it a title. And that will save it into the Puppet Powers section. Okay, then I can actually use that. So if I go back to here, I can go to my saved Puppet Powers that I've created, and then the big box with an arrow coming out of it, I can export it. So it does ask for you to put in a code. I can choose whether I want normal or big. I'm just going to go normal because it's only a short introduction. And then I can save it to my photos, and save the video, or I can send it directly to Seesaw or one of the other places. Okay, I do find when I do click on Google Classroom, it does take a little bit longer. So I like to actually save it to video first and then go into Google Classroom and upload it that way. And then I can work through that. So then I can come back here, and within there, I've got the video. So if I was going to upload it to Google Classroom, I'd open up Google Classroom and attach it just as a video file to the lesson or to the assignment that I have created in Google Classroom. Okay. Or if I wanted it into Seesaw, it would go directly across into Seesaw. Okay, so I could, I'll run through how to do that from here. So I can go Seesaw. It's going to open up the class that I am going to send it to. Do I want to select all students? Yes. And then I can click and it will upload it straight in there. All right. So that's been uploaded straight in there. All right, so you've got a few different ideas of different things that you can use in the classroom to introduce lessons. For animations, all sorts of engaging ways of starting that. As I said, I didn't want to eat too much into the Clips session, which is coming up next. There's a lot of functionality within Clips to add a bit more of an extended introduction, and you get those green screen type effects in Clips as well, which are easy to access and easy to use. But definitely using the Animoji, using Puppet Powers can definitely engage the students and can be a really good way for the students to actually show their learning as well. We're learning all these tricks, we're learning all these things about how we can present as teachers, but we can also get students to use these tools to present their learning back. And the more creative they are in presenting their learning back, the easier it is to sit as a teacher and watch all the different styles of learning that the students are presenting. So just having a look through the questions. I think Mark has answered it. Mark, are there any that stand out that haven't been?
So there were a few people that had trouble finding the Animojis, and that seems to be a hardware related issue. Other than that, I think everything's been answered. If it hasn't been,
other questions out there? So be mindful putting in, I know the audio files have been the issue with the Google Slides of late for the latest update and the latest iPads. Haven't been able to hear audio when you use Google Slides for some reason. So that's something to be mindful of if you're sending out attached audio pieces to Google Slides, that it may not play for all your students. I know Google are looking into that and why that's the case, but they haven't come up with a solution for that yet. Puppet Powers, if it's a video file, we can, from slides, let's just start a new slide. I'm pretty sure the video will need to be in Google. No, it's going to. In slides, you're going to need to be on the Mac, so you're going to need to send it to your Mac from slides on the iPad. Sending it directly into slides is not a function at the moment. It's only photos that you can put in. That's only going to be the image. That's not actually my clip. Okay, so you'll have to send the video file to your Mac, and then you'll have to add it to your slides through that way. Okay, because you can embed video into slides if you do it on a Mac, but not on the iPad. All right, which setting menu for enabling screen recording? Yes, so go into settings and go to Control Center, and then go Customize Controls. And then you can see you've got all these different options that you can include. The ones at the top are the ones that are already on your control center. And the ones down the bottom are the ones that you can add. So if screen recording is not there, it may be down the bottom. All you do is hit the green plus and that will pop up. Okay. One of the things that you may notice, if you haven't, so I've gone in and I've got my dark display. That means that my Animojis in messages actually come up with the black background. Okay. if I was to have it, and I usually have my iPad configured so that the display is light, then when I go to my messages and create them, they're on the white background. Okay, so if you want the white background, just change from the light to the, and if you want the dark background, change to the dark. Okay, you can see, so some people were just hitting this, the third button along, which is just your stickers. Okay, you can create your own sticker. Okay, you can personalize it so it looks like you, but then you've also got all the other ones as well. And you'll also notice as you go along there that if I go all the way to the end, there's a Puppet Powers one that has stickers as well. And there's a lot of other ones that have stickers that have been incorporated in the app. All right.
Just a 4-minute warning there, Ben.
Not a problem. Okay. Okay, so any other questions? Anyone that I've missed?
I noticed Cara was experimenting with updating her iPad, and she thought she had some luck there, but maybe she didn't. But it's always a good strategy to try.
Yeah, so obviously with the Apple products, they update. The latest one's going to have the newest features. Sometimes the older versions of the iPads won't be able to pick them up. You can create them on your phone as well and send them that way, which is something that you can do. All right. So if there's no more questions, I think we are good to wrap up. So I will stop my screen share and pass back to Mark.
Thank you, Ben. I'll just go back to our presentation. Hopefully you're looking at the webinar will not be recorded, which clearly it was. Now we do have an evaluation for today. It's the same as all the other session evaluations. So you can either use that bit.ly link, or you can point your phone camera at the QR code and it should take you to this short evaluation, which takes about 30 or 40 seconds. We do have a look at the evaluations, and it's really useful for us to be able to see that. I'll leave that on the screen for just a moment more so that people can see it. But we also have a range of sessions coming up this afternoon, which are on the following slide. So I'll just wait maybe 5 or 10 more seconds just so people can get there, and then I'll switch over to the following slide. Just while you're doing that evaluation, we thank you for your time. I know it's your holidays, and it's great that people are turning up and spending their time wisely. So straight after this particular session, we've got create engaging videos with clips with the Apple team. Then we've got advanced click view for effective student engagement primary. That should be a good one. And then advanced screencastify, which is not necessarily super advanced. Then we go through to create self-marking quizzes using Google Forms. And then we've got an advanced click view secondary. So another full day of professional learning. You can see the details on the screen there. Thank you very much for coming along today. Thank you, Ben, for all your work with that. And I'm sure I'll see you online within the next 10 minutes.
All right, thanks everyone. Thanks, Mark.
Any questions, please feel free.